Talk about something most guys avoid. ED. And it's not what you think. It's not always that it doesn't work. Maybe it just doesn't work like it used to. Not as strong, not as consistent, not lasting as long. That's still ED. About 5 out of 10 guys deal with it, and 10 out of 10 never talk about it. At Game Day Men's Health Solon, they don't just Band-Aid it. They get to the root of the problem. If something feels off, it's worth checking out. Game Day Solon's board-certified medical experts have the experience, training, and confidential approach that men from all over Northeast Ohio trust.
Mike had such an awkward look on his face when Earl was reading that commercial. We got to be comfortable with it. Earl just told us we've got to be able to talk about this stuff.
Get
Mike,
checked out.
You're a young man. When you get older, things happen. Not everything works perfectly. I love it. Thank you for talking about it.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience here, Bull.
I'm not, but if I did,
Game Day Men's Health
I would do what I got to do.
We're actually meeting with them after the show today.
Games Day Men's Health is the best.
Yeah, Men's Health Solon.
Solon.
Yeah, shout out Solon.
Absolutely.
Home of Zach Meisel.
Yeah.
Home of Hayden Grove. Home of Sean Dunnigan or Nick Camino, one of the two. Maybe both of them. Not 100% sure.
I don't know.
But a lot of good. And Jeff Passon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Hoity-toity Jeff Passon lives in Solon. I'm in Solon's hoity-toity.
He's from
went to Solon.
I make fun of you for being hoity-toity Avon Lake. You make fun of me for being from hoity-toity Rocky River. But Solon is more hoity-toity than either of those.
Is it?
Is it?
Isn't it?
I mean, it's hoitier than where I am. I don't know about you. You're high on the hoity list and the toity list.
No, Avon Lake. We got to take a poll. What's more hoity-toity,
Oh,
Avon Lake or Rocky River?
It's not close.
You see, here's the thing. Rocky River's only hoity-toity by the river. That's where the rich people in Rocky River live. I live on the southern end of Rocky River.
Oh, the poor side.
I'm not saying poor, but on the...
There is no poor side.
No, I'm not. I never said poor. I said the middle class side of Rocky River. The Richies all live by the water, all right? And you guys are on the water, so you got more Richies.
He is Avon by the lake.
Yeah.
Avon by the lake.
Isn't that what's Avon Lake?
Avon Lake.
Avon by the lake?
No, but what's the town that's in Ohio? It's Geneva on the lake.
Geneva on the lake.
Okay,
yes.
I knew I'd seen that in my head somewhere.
That's on the east side, right?
That's east.
Yeah.
Isn't Pickle Bill's over there? You ever been to Pickle Bill's?
I've heard of Pickle Bills.
No.
I think
It's a restaurant. No,
Earl's laughing.
it's a real
There's
restaurant.
a place
Yeah,
called
it's
Pickle Bill's. I think it's in Geneva. No, it may not be. I don't know where it is.
I think it's Willoughby.
Somebody in our audience knows Pickle Bill's. It's on this gross body of water. I don't know what it is. And it's like a dive, but it's awesome. I can't eat there anymore because it's all fried food. But it was awesome when I went there.
I have friends that have suggested, on a Friday, hey, we should go to Pickle Bill's.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's never actually come to fruition, but they say you get crab legs and
you're skinny and young. Go to Pickle Bill's. I would eat there, but I don't remember what town it's in. All right.
It's located in Grand River, Ohio.
Grand River.
So not Geneva by the lake.
Yeah.
Not Avon by the lake. Not Rocky River by the river.
Yeah.
In the other
not Menor on the lake. Yeah, Menor on the lake.
Not Parma, not near any water.
Definitely not near Parma.
It was in Grand River.
Grand River. Wherever the hell that is. I don't know why I was so far out east, but I was, and there you go.
It is what it is.
All right, Mikey McNuggets, you got a 5-pack of stats for us.
I do.
Cavs Pistons or Cavs playoffs?
Cavs Pistons game 2, but encapsulating some overall playoff statistics as well. And
Here
the first one, we talked about this yesterday, but it's actually a stat that you had brought up.
Oh.
But the Cavs have 141 turnovers through 8 games. That is the most turnovers that any NBA team has had through 8 games of a playoff run since 1996. That's 30 years. 30
and what's
years.
crazy about that is half that time, when did they stop playing like men's defense?
2007.
Right, it was around then. So you're talking about a decade when they still beat the crap out of you playing defense.
And in the regular season, the Cavs were a pretty good turnover rate team in general. They finished 9th overall in the league. They were worse before the James Harden acquisition. They were really good. They were 4th after they acquired James Harden in turnover rate. It was just at about 13.1%. I forget the exact, 13.7, whatever it was. This is not a team that in theory should be able to be sped up, leading to this many turnovers. But Toronto did it to them. Detroit did it to them in game 1. They're not beating anybody. Detroit, whoever they face in the next round, if they reach the finals, they're not beating anybody if they turn the ball over as consistently as they have through the first 8 games of this playoff run.
I wonder, in 1996, the first round was best of 5, I think, right?
It was.
Yeah.
So there's a chance, there's probably a decent chance that the last team that did that in 96, whoever it was maybe down 3-0 in the second round. They probably won the first round 3-2 after all their turnovers, and maybe you would have played 3 more. Maybe they were down. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Because
who knows?
Being the most turnovers in 30 years, and you're 4-4. They're kind of lucky that they're 4-4 with as many turnovers as they've had.
The games where they've had a lot of turnovers, they've lost them all. And the games they've been better protecting the basketball, they have won those.
What are they averaging in turnovers per game in the games they've lost? Is it
I don't have that off the top of my head.
And as part of this, I don't know, do you have we brought this up yesterday, like James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are averaging about a 1-1 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
They have a few more assists than turnovers.
It's 73 to 65.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well,
if that continues, there's no chance they win this series.
That leads us right to the next one.
Yeah.
So we'll get into the next one right away. But it involves James Harden. In Game 1 against the Pistons, James Harden had 6 made field goals and 7 turnovers.
Oh, God.
That is now his
29th
career playoff game with more turnovers than field goal makes.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to Tom Haberstra who made this stat.
That's got to be the worst that any player in the history of the game.
Look at the last line of that graphic.
More than
29 is more than LeBron, Lucas, Steph, Jokic, Durant, and Giannis combined.
That's
playoff games with more turnovers than field goals made. 29.
Yeah.
That is the most in the modern era. Number 2 on that list is Russell Westbrook with 17.
I know that James Harden, based on his regular season, is a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. I believe James Harden, if he retired today, should not go in the Hall of Fame because
You're wrong.
It's my opinion. I can't be wrong about an opinion.
I just said you're wrong.
You could disagree, and here's why. Let me make my point. He is the worst Hall of Fame talent in the NBA playoffs. It's got to be in history, in the history of the sport. Who's been worse? That number is a disgrace.
It's a bad number. It's a bad stat.
Bad?
Bad stat.
Bad is not strong enough, Mike.
Bad stat.
More than all those guys combined? Yeah. LeBron's played a zillion playoff games. And maybe it's not fair to compare him to LeBron, but, come on. That's crazy.
I mean, KD's played in 1 million playoff games. I mean, none of those guys have won.
How many times did MJ have more turnovers than
I don't know.
I shouldn't even go. I should go to the next level of star because that's where he is. How many times has Barkley had that?
Giannis hasn't done it twice. LeBron has 11 of those games, by the way. So LeBron has 11.
I'm surprised LeBron's got 11. Even that shocks me.
I mean, it happens. Everyone has bad games.
But LeBron's probably played way more playoff. I mean, how many more playoff games has he played than Harden?
A lot.
Right? Okay. So whatever. 29.
Yeah. It's not a good number. That's not a good stat.
Wow, it is a good stat, but it's a bad stat.
It's a cool stat. It's not good if you're a Cavs fan for James Harden.
All right, next.
All right, next one, Donovan Mitchell. We talked about this a little in the first topic, but Donovan has 18 free throw attempts in 8 games. That's 2.3 free throw attempts per game. That ranks 61st in the playoffs this year. Last season, they obviously swept Miami. They lost to Indiana in 5. He had 89 free throw attempts in those 9 games. He has 18 this year. He had 89 in 9 games last year, including a game where he had 21 free throw attempts in a single game last year against Indiana. He only has 18 in 8 games this year. We mentioned the drives are down. He averaged 14.7 drives in the regular season, or 14.6, excuse me. It's down to 11.7.
What did he average in the playoffs last year? Do you know?
The 11.7 is the lowest of his career since. Well, it's lower, but the closest one was that first 2022-2023 playoff series when they lost the Knicks.
Do you know where he was last year in the playoffs?
I don't know off the top of my head. And
probably in the 14s?
Around there. He was getting to when you shoot 80, I bet you it was above 14, because when you get to 89 free throw attempts in 9 games, that means you're getting to the rim at a crazy rate. That 11.7 drives per game, that ranks 22nd in the playoffs this year. So 61st in the playoffs this year in free throw attempts per game, 22nd in the NBA in drives per game. And when you compare that versus last year, 89 free throw attempts in 9 games versus 18 free throw attempts in 8 games.
That's like 9.9 free throw attempts per game last year. And this year, 2.3?
Yeah.
That's not the refs.
No, of course not.
Wow. Maybe he is more hurt. I don't know. I hate making injury excuses. But he's got to get to the basket.
Yeah. I mean, it's staggering to see the numbers side by side.
It is staggering.
It's staggering
You're right.
to see them side by side.
That's crazy. All right, number 4.
Number 4, I wanted to give Jaylen Duren a little bit of love because we didn't talk about his overall contributions a ton, but in Game 1, He had 20 contested shots. So he contested 20 of the Cavs shots. That was the most individual contests of any Eastern Conference player in the first game of the second round of the playoffs. The only one who had more in the Western Conference was Wemby, who blocked 12 shots in game 1. So
did he really?
Yeah, he had 12 blocks.
And they lost.
They did lose. They won last night.
Yeah, they won.
Crushed them last night. But Wemby had 12 blocks in game 1. So he led. Blocks. It's an absurd. Wemby's ridiculous. It's absurd. Wemby's absurd.
That's like a high school game where there's one kid who's like a freak 6'10", and everybody else is,
It'd be like if AJ or Aaron played against 4-year-olds tomorrow. Like that's what Wemby
ridiculous.
did. So Wemby led game 1, second round in contest. Duren was second with 20.
Yeah.
On those 20 contests, the Cavs shot just 41.2% against those contests, which goes to show you.
I don't know. Give me some context of how is that such an amazing number?
It's about 10 points lower than what league average would have been on that same number. Because most of them were at the rim 2-pointers.
Right. It wasn't like they were long shots.
Of those 20, only 4 were 3-point contests. 16 were 2-point contests. He had 4 screen assists in game 1. 3 of those came in the fourth quarter when they were in that deep drop coverage.
Right.
And I found this stat really interesting. So Duren, if you've seen him in person, and Jason, you were there.
Massive.
He's huge.
Massive.
He looks like all the 80s, 90s Rock'em Sock'em robots, the Detroit Pistons,
Dale Davis.
All of those guys.
Antonio Davis.
He's built like that. In game 1.
Barkley Malone. Go ahead.
When NBA.com does their tracking data, they'll show how many box outs a player has.
Yeah.
All that. I forget the exact number, but it was 18, 19, whatever it was. He grabbed 100% of rebounds on plays he boxed out on. Which means when he put a body on someone on Cleveland,
he got the ball.
He got the ball.
They weren't moving.
They weren't moving. And I just wanted to give Duren some credit because I thought he was, despite the fact that he only scored 11 points, his stat sheet, the box score didn't look like he had a giant impact. He had a gigantic impact.
Well, I mean, 6 of those points, the game was tied at 93, and then he had 6 straight points on passes from Cunningham for easy dunks. Yeah, I mean, he had done nothing offensively before that. I mean, but he's
in other aspects.
Oh, huge impact.
Yeah, and then this last one, I just want, before you take it, you can show. I'm sorry, this is gonna hurt. This hurts. The Cavs are 0-9 in their last 9 road games against playoff teams. The last time they beat a team that actually made the playoffs, not a play-in team, an actual playoff team.
Miami doesn't count, right?
Was James Harden's second game.
Wow. February
February 9th at Denver. In those 9 games, they've lost consecutively against playoff teams, which includes game 1.
I'm sorry. I thought this was just playoffs going back a couple of years.
No. This is
You're talking about this season.
This season against teams on the road who made the playoffs.
Okay.
They've lost 9 consecutive. The last time they beat a team was February 2nd in James Harden's second game with Cleveland. In those
February
9
9th.
games, February 9th, sorry, it was Harden's second
Denver's
game.
out of the playoffs.
Now, but they were obviously a playoff team. Their average margin of defeat is over 10 points in those games. So they've had way more non-competitive games than they have had competitive games on the road.
Wow.
And they need to snap that streak if they're going to have a chance to win because they don't have home court advantage. They can't just protect home court. They're obviously the underdog, the lower-seeded team.
Yeah.
They're going to win this series. They're going to have to win at least one game on the road in Detroit, and they've lost their last 9 against playoff teams.
Mike is much better at stat packs than he is at pronouncing Matt Veskurgeon's name, I'll tell you that.
So Fanta texted us yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're
I sent it to him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, God. You did that off-chain with me.
Yes.
Did he laugh?
He thought it was hilarious.
Oh, God.
I said, I said, any chance you get Matt Veskurgeon to play this on the broadcast? It's funny. Embrace it.
I'm a professional. I need to be better at this stuff.
Dude, guys screw up all the time. You got to embrace when you screw up.
I do. I mean, I laugh at it. I
was
thought
funny.
It was hysterical.
It wasn't like you made a mistake, like you said, a team, did the Cavs ever win a championship or something stupid like that where you look like a moron? That's just you mispronounced the name. It's funny.
It is a unique spelling if you're not familiar with
it.
The
It is.
name.
That's true. That's true.
I'm glad John laughed, and we're going to help John in July, so we're excited for that.
Yeah.
We're going to get John in studio in July, by the way.
Yeah, he's doing a broadcasting camp at his alma mater, St. Ignatius. And so, anyway, we'll be there doing whatever he needs us to do to help out with the broadcasting camp. All right, great job, Mike. Those were all awesome stats, eye-opening stats. Not all awesome for the Cavs, but they were very interesting. Good work.